Creators, it is time for Davinci Resolve 20 over 40 in 30, day 8. I had to double check how to do 8. I forgot. Anyway, we do 8 like this in the US or whatever, but like I kind of learned it the Japanese way. It's a little bit easier to know what you're doing. So that's 8. So if you're wondering why my hands are weird, that's why. I was all right. Let me stop wasting time. Today we're going to get into something, and I want to show you this because I'm about to hit the road. Like I'm flying out in less than 24 hours. I'm on my way to the Midwest. And so I need to be able to work on this project and keep this series going while I'm traveling. And so I know my buddy Paul had asked about this. So today we're going to dive into Blackmagic Cloud. So let's get over here. First thing we're going to do is pop open the DR Sizzle. Bingo. And this is your project setup. These are local projects that we got going. What we want to do is press on Cloud. Now, when I press on Cloud, I have a Blackmagic Cloud account. However, right now, you see absolutely nothing, and I'll explain why in a split second. Let me click this button to say to go to Blackmagic Cloud, and then I will pull up the little window here. I'll bring it over so we can see what we're doing. Let's unembiggen it so it's not so hugified. Okay, so here's my little Chrome window, and it's telling me that I need to upgrade. And let me explain this upgrade real quick. Blackmagic Cloud works in a system of general cloud storage, just like Google Drive. It's a folder on the internet where you can leave things. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you can probably work directly out of Google Drive. You're just going to go through the hassle of downloading the media to your computer that you're currently using, edit, save the media, save the project file, put it back in Google Drive. And it's the old school methodology of check in a file, check out a file. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, so let's go back and explain what this does. So in Blackmagic Cloud, you need to have project library. And let me pull that back up so we can see while we're talking. You don't need to see my ugly face while we talk about this. So if you're just here on this first tab, it's kind of showing you nothing, right? So it's just giving you this information just about Davinci. Here on the second one, this is known as the project servers. Right? And from the project servers, you have access to just the storage tab. So in the storage tab, I did create a folder, and in that folder, I did put a video file and I did put an audio file, which is just music. These are both here on the server, and I could download this, bring it into my computer and edit. The weird thing is, under cloud folders, we have nothing, and under project libraries, we have nothing. Blackmagic works in project libraries. So in order to get this to work, if I were to click back on this guy, it's telling me in order to use this to get a project library, I need to upgrade. So let's hit upgrade real quick. And this is where I almost got confused. The first thing I did was I saw this 2 GB storage, which is in a way kind of small anyway. And I went and I added a project library, and it said $5 a month. But I'm like, well, 2 GB is going to be a little problematic. That's just a little too small. So I moved it up one tick to 500, and it said that our total was going to be $1,250. And that's fine. But lucky thing I did my research, because I don't need 2 project libraries. I only need one. One project library can hold up to 1,000 projects. And you could have up to 30 members or people using that project and 10 users actually use it at a time. So I mean like 10 editors, color correctors, sound engineers, whatever. But you could have another 20 people that are just there for review, see what's going on. So you're dealing with clients or whatever. So I was like, well, I couldn't figure out how to get this done. And then it dawned on me, hello, just press this back to 1 because it comes with 1. So if we take this back to the beginning, and click on project server, you're going to get the upgrade. If all you did was, instead of touching this, just move it up to 500, you see it didn't add any extra. It says extra project libraries. It added 1 automatically because it looks like with every 500, or actually you can go as much as you want. When you get to 20, it will automatically give you 2 libraries, but you can go up to 1 terabyte for $15 a month. And this for $750. Now, one of the cool things about Blackmagic Davinci Resolve is that it's not subscription oriented. So you don't have to pay for these sort of things. But what's cool is if I'm working on a project and say I'm working with a client or just working with myself client, and I got like 10, 15 videos I need to do, and I need to be on the move, on the road a lot, I can just do this $750. Today is July 8th. If I'm finished my projects by July 30, I'm just turn it back off. So I can pay like $750 for the month. And it's like, renting a SIM card when you go overseas or renting something that you need for 1 month. So if you don't need to have it constantly, you're not just storing stuff in there for the heck of it, you can turn it on and off. There is no limitations when it comes to that. So what I'm going to do is come back to here and I'm going to do 500 gigs, which will give me one library up to 20 presentations. I don't even know what the heck that part is for. And 500 gig storage. And we're going to call that a go. All right. So we're going to say continue that. Now it's going to ask me some secret squirrel stuff. That's quite not none of your business. So give me a second just to log this in. And in the meantime, I think the other thing that's cool about this is you can absolutely just take your project files, which would make a lot of sense in a second, and you can run them back and forth just with a, what's the word I'm looking for? You can run them back and forth with an SSD, but you're still going to want your project files. Your project files are going to save like your timelines, your color grades, your effects, all of that stuff in the project file. So that's why you kind of sort of want to do it this way, the way we're doing it now. So it's processing this information and it looks like we're all good in the hood. Let me just hit pay now real fast and then I'll bring you guys back in so you can see where I'm at. It says the payment is processed and we're good to go. So let me press OK. So now we have this managed plan situation all good in the hood. So I can go to my project libraries here and let's create a library name. I'm going to call this library Duck Cloud. You can name it whatever you want. It's a really stupid name. I normally would pick something better. Now, what it's telling me is to pick a server from one of these regions. So I have North Carolina, Ohio, Frankfurt, London, Stockholm, Mumbai, Singapore, Sydney, Tokyo, Sao Paulo. I'm going to go with Ohio because I'm in Hawaii most of the time. And then when I travel, I'm going to the Midwest this week. So I'm going to just stick with Ohio. Maybe later I'll move it to North Click because a lot of times when I'm traveling, I'm in the Boston greater area. And then I can specify I want 18 and above. I'm not using the old version of Davinci. So I can go ahead and click this button. And it says all your project libraries are currently processing or disabled. And it looks like there is a little doohickey over here, twirly, doing the thing. Now it looks like it's finished because seems to be done. Okay, the project library is empty. Take your butt to the Resolve app. All right, cool. I'm just curious while we're here before we jump what these other buttons are, because, I'm nosy. This is presentations. I guess if you want to make a keynote, I have no idea. We'll play with that later. And then what is this guy? This guy is organizations. Oh, so I can sort of build out a team, right? So I can do DRM, that stands for Doc Rock Media. Actually, let me just spell it out in case I invite somebody later. So I can add that, and then I could put my country as the Untitled States, and then say create. And then there it is. I don't have any extra members in here, but let's say I wanted to invite a member to the party. I'm going to go to add a member, and I'm going to add Mr. Camera Junkie, aka Luis. I don't know what he's using for his Blackmagic Cloud ID, but I'll just guess what I assume he used, and then we'll figure this out later. I'll ask him tomorrow. And it's just so that I can see later or while I'm traveling, and I'll be able to update you after if Luis was able to see this, right? So let me just grab this email address, and I'm going to copy that, and then let me add him in right here. Let me take you offline real quick. I'm going to add a member, and it says member added. The file has been sent, so I've added Mr. Camera Junkie to the process. So when I come back, it now says 2 members. Of course, he's probably going to have to access that server, but everything is here. Then your storage information is here, whatever projects you're using, so forth, so on, et cetera. And of course, if you run out of space in the middle of a project, you can just buy more storage. And again, it's not a subscription to the point where you're stuck. All right, so let's come back out. Sorry, leave that there and go back to DR. So let's go to Davinci Resolve. We're going to click on Blackmagic Cloud. I probably need to refresh this just a taste. It says connecting to the project library. Of course, you need to have an internet connection for this to work. I think that goes without saying, but somebody's going to ask. So let's just do that. It's thinking. All right, boom. So here we are, Blackmagic Cloud. Here's an untitled project. Let's go and create a new project, and we're going to call this Cloud 9. I'm just making up dumb stuff, okay? And my local location is going to be here. Do I want to share this with multiple users? I will say this particular project, I'll leave it as a single user. This is where it makes a big difference. So pay close attention to here. I'm going to set this up so that it's only working with proxies, okay? Now, the reason for that is proxy media in a nutshell just means, like, say I had clips that were like, let's say 4 gigabytes apiece. A proxy of that might be 84 to 100 megabytes. I can see what I'm doing. I can make the edits. It's visually the same, but it wouldn't render at that 4K, right? If a 4K file, say, came out to like 4 gigs, and actually the proxy would probably be closer to like 400 or 500, but I can totally work with it. And it's fast on the internet. Like if I'm using my mobile connection or whatever, I can get down with the get down, but I'm not actually editing the full resolution file. Once I'm done editing and I'm back in my good location, then I can open that project file, link the media to the actual hard drive. So if I have my portable hard drive like this, I could take the media that's on here, right? So say the project was created on this SD card, and I copied it onto this guy. When I say upload it to the cloud, it's going to make the proxies, put those on Blackmagic Cloud, and I'll work off of those. Once I'm ready, it's going to need to see one of these two guys to relink back to the full size files, and then it will render the project gorgeously in stunning 4K, 8K, 6K, 12K with shake what your mama gave you. All right, let's get back. All right, so for this particular example, just a little sample, I am going to just use proxies. Now, if I got a lot of space kicking, like I actually did do 500 gigabytes, and my internet is swanky, which mine is, and considering I'm going to be in the airplane tomorrow, and my airplane has Skylink that actually has about 500-600 down, I could do proxies and organos and be absolutely fine because my plane internet connection will be faster than my hotel. So you can kind of do whichever. Right now, I'm just going to sync these. And then I do have Blackmagic camera on my phone, so I could say allow that. And that means if I shoot things with my phone, it'll automatically get loaded to this project. In my particular case, knowing that I use my phone app a lot, I am going to say yes, but it's completely up to you. So now we're going to dip, dive, socialize, and click create. And now it's going to create this new project. Okay, so it's spiraling, and then there is nothing in here. So let's go while we're in this media pool here, and let's create a brand new timeline. So the first thing I want to decide is sort of what files I'm going to want to cut with this project file. So let me think about what I'm going to sit in here. I had some footages I was thinking about adding to this. So let me go to my downloads folder, and I'm going to stick in a couple of clips right here. I'm just going to drag these guys in. Actually, before we do this, let's go and create a new bin. Should be neat about this. Learn to get good habits. MEDIA. Okay. Then we're going to make another new bin. That's a new timeline. That's not the shortcut for new bin. I have no idea what the shortcut for new bin is. Let's check. Command Shift N. Okay. Command Shift N. And then we're going to make another one. Command Shift N. And then do. All right. And then inside media, we can do A roll, B roll. And then B roll. Okay. All right, cool. Now we're square. So I'm going to go to my A roll section and I'm going to drag in these files. Okay. Do I want to change the project frame rate? Let's say no. So these files are here. I think what I need to do is, in order to make this work properly, is I need to click upon this, right click, and generate optimized media or generate proxy media, right? I'm going to see. Let's just do generate. Let's do relink proxy media. Okay. I don't have any proxies yet. It's going to make. Let me check the cloud and see if it's making folders for me. Right now, it says the project media is here and it's not doing anything. It says it's all up to date. Oh, you can leave chats in here. So we can do that. Let me add a new timeline as well. Let's come out to the master and then add a new timeline. Testing Blackmagic Cloud, and we're going to call that a day. And I think that's it. So if I check this cloud folder and I go to select, it's really weird. It doesn't have any. Maybe I didn't open and close Blackmagic Cloud before I started this. Because in theory, this project should be. Oh, I just seen the cloud do something. I don't know what it did, but it said total media 120, media stored locally 120. So it did something. Now it's syncing the files. Okay, it's working. I was about to start and restart Davinci just to see if it would catch on and do what it's doing. I'm assuming it's going to generate these proxies for me automatically. But again, in my particular case, I set it up where it doesn't matter if I use proxies because I am going to be on a fast connection whilst I'm in the air. So it's curious of what it's doing. It says it's 100%. It is syncing file 1 of 1. And let's see what else it's doing. It looks like it's finishing up. There is, you can pause that sync. You can reinitiate that sync. You have this, open the folder if you want to see where it is. So it opened the folder here on my desktop so I can see where those files are. And if I click this, this is a checkbox that says to edit the sync. And this is probably to delete that sync. So I don't want to edit the sync at all. I am syncing the proxies, and you can sync proxies in originals. Okay, so that is there. That is perfectly fine. So let's cancel that, and let's go back over to Blackmagic Cloud and see if we see our files over there. So let me go back here. And there it is. There's my Cloud 9. There's my camera uploads. There's proxy. There's nothing in there just yet. And then these are my downloads. There's the clips. Okay, so it's working. It still is working, but I think what it's doing is it's paying attention to where I am doing things, and it is taking the time to put those in where they need to go. So that is cool. At least we know that it works. I like this. I totally like this. And if I go here to my project server, I can see where my projects are, and now it's building thumbnails. So yes, it is totally functioning, and that, my friends, is cool. You see right here, it's doing another result. It is syncing some more files, so it is totally working. This is exciting. This is exciting. I'm going to take this timeline, and I am going to press save so that it gets sent to the cloud, and then I'm going to do a Command-Shift-O, and then export this timeline to the desktop because I can always pull it from there as well, but I will have a backup. So that's cool. if I were to come down here, open this clip, right? It's already, the timeline is open, and go into the media real quick, go to A-roll and drag this file to here. It's kind of going there and it's doing its thing. So what I want to do is leave this alone for a second, and I'm going to pop back over into the old Ecamm, and then I'm going to show you guys something else. Okay, so we're going to come out of this mode. I'm going to grab my iPad and see what happens. We're doing it live. We are learning this stuff live, people. All right, so let me get my iPad open. And then I am going to open up Davinci Resolve on the iPad. Bingo, bingo. My brother is talking to me. Resolve. Okay, Davinci Resolve on the iPad. Let me hit you with a top-down Chrome spinning so you can sort of see what we're doing here. We want to go custom and do something like this. All right, let's do that. So now what I want to do here is go and get my cloud open, Blackmagic Cloud. Actually, hit the home project thing first. I have not messed with this app at all, so you have to excuse my ignorance. I'm going to hit cloud. There it is. Give me a chance to log in. It needs to see my grill. Log it in. Yo, this is going to be wild, bro. To be able to like put projects in before I leave tomorrow and then just work on them on the plane on my iPad. That's just sick. Okay, you see the cloud profile? I can go to my Doc Rock Media one and say continue. And then there's my Blackmagic Cloud there. And there's projects. Is it synchronating? Oh, I wonder if this part requires studio on here as well. Let me try something else. I just want to double check. So let me log in from here. All right, so there's the project server. Here's my files in here. What are you doing? Ah! There it goes. Sorry, it was just slow, and I was being impatient. I wonder if I need to change the organization. There it is. It's syncing something. %. There we go. Boom. And it says this way. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is cool. The project is used. You can continue in read-only mode or request myself close the project so that we can collaborate, right? Because I did say not to use multiple users or whatever, right? So I can load this in read-only mode. What's also really cool is I use a service called Splashtop Remote. So if I ever screw myself up, I can log back into my Mac from the plane and adjust whatever I need to adjust. But this is dope. This is seemingly working. I would definitely make adjustment on that project so that I have access to it whilst I'm in the air. But it just turned red. What are you doing? Choose a location. That's good. Proxies only. And then say open. And now it's showing me that my media is offline because it probably still needs to download this media, right? So you see there's little blue circle here that's telling me that it's downloading the media or that it's still syncing. But look, it's ooh, family. This is cool. This is absolutely cool. All right, so we know it works. It's still in the process of uploading, which again, right now, it's probably building those proxies to upload. I can check on the cloud over here on Blackmagic, and it looks like everything is done. So it's just waiting for my iPad to download these files, and it's just about 1 gig, but this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. So I can tell I still have a couple of little things I need to do as far as making sure I have all of the permissions in the right order, but knowing that, the iPad is still doing that. Hold on, just so you can see real quick. The iPad just loaded another clip. So the iPad is currently bringing these clips down. And of course, the one that I have on the timeline is the one that didn't sync yet. But these guys, if you double click them, they're in here. Oh, one thing I heard about the iPad app, I heard that it is identical to the desktop app. And knowing me, I will probably end up buying the studio version of the iPad app, which is $94 right now. Fam, the fact that I can do this here, let's just try something really crazy because I'm just curious. And since we're playing. Let me pop this clip right here. It's right on the top. Okay, it's completely not right, but we're going to call that a day. And then in the iPad, I guess you don't have to save anything. It just sort of saves automatically. But don't need to do that. Let me go to cloud and then force the sync. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'm changing it to allow multiple users so that it doesn't cause any trouble. Okay, it's saving that. And we're going to see on the regular Davinci, like once it finished syncing, like if it makes a change on the, well, of course it's going to make a change because that's sort of how this works. But it's kind of incredible that you can, this is what's been missing from Final Cut. This is one of the things that I did like about CapCut, but of course CapCut is a very limited app and it doesn't do what we like it to do. So this is actually kind of cool that you can just take something like this. It's syncing right now. You see it's linking the files up. This little blue line here on the bottom is really hard for you to see, but ow. This little blue line on the bottom tells me that the cloud is doing something. And whenever that's finished doing whatever it do, it's going to work. So again, I'm sorry, this was just a crazy little demo, but I'm learning. I'm learning. And I appreciate those of you guys who are sticking with me while I learn it. Again, for those of you guys who are impatient or you only watch part of this or you skim this, once I have it all down, I will remake this entire series when I know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to do it raw because I want to help take away the intimidation of learning how to use a new app. So I'll make an ass out of myself in public so that you could get more confident about doing what it is that you do. Okay? That's what it's about. All right, so I don't know who needed to hear this, but if it was you, let me know in the comment section below. Again, I'm going to be on the road and I'm going to keep it going. And we're going to talk about a little iPad app game while we're on the fly. But this is super dope. And I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me as I go through how to use DaVinci Resolve 20 over 40 in 30 days. Day 8 is a wrap. Right about now, the algorithm is going to show you another video they think you should watch. And I agree with them.
I need to know everything. Who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats to turn to a ghost. I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver.